Hello and welcome to today's guided meditation. And today we are continuing the theme for December, which is power. And today we are dipping our toes into love, deepening our love and finding that connection between the power and the love. And having the focus on the fire element and having the focus on our solar plexus this month. And love being all about our heart center and our heart chakra, we're trying to bridge those two energy centers, the solar plexus and the heart center. And finding that connection, I think it takes courage because then we have to notice where we have been leaking power, where we have been suckers for love, like literally where we have been giving our power away in exchange to gain love, in exchange to feel loved and to be loved. And those patterns, they are normally very deep. And those patterns, they could play out all the way from our childhood, from experiences which might not look significant right now, but which might have influenced our whole life. And when it comes to love, I think, and I saw this in myself and I see it in my clients, we give our power away in exchange for love because that void, that deep inner wound within our hearts, which is craving for love, which we might not have received in one way or the other in childhood or childhood experiences. And these experiences, they could be tiny. It could be just, you might have been left alone for a short period of time where you might felt afraid or alone. And in that moment, you just disconnected or created this inner belief that you are never going to have that love. Or in the moments when you needed that love, you haven't received it. And that, instances like that, they end up playing out in our lives. And then it feels like we are starting to chase something, like chasing that love, chasing that approval, or we might end up also creating a lot of destructive patterns or creating this material need and material obsession to fill that void. So I think with many things that I'm talking about, there's always a need to address that deep inner wound, that deep inner core wound. And that is normally, it surfaces around our heart and it surfaces around love. And love is a big theme in my work because the way I see it is anywhere we haven't received love and anywhere we have these empty spaces within our heart, and we are trying to fill that with something which is from the outside. But anything that is on the outside is never going to fill that wound or that emptiness within ourselves. All of that, it has to come from the inner acceptance, inner fulfillment, inner acknowledgement that we can give that love to ourselves without needing to rely to anyone else. Anyone really outside of ourselves. And I think we live in the society where we see relationships as, at least that's how I perceive the relationships and the way we are moving forward and the way we are evolving, or at least that's how I teach it. We have to find our center as an individuals. And when we find our center as an individuals, and then we come into the couples or their relationships, we are able to expand and create that deep inner dynamic without needing each of the person to fill each other up. Then we come as a strong, powerful couple, which is able to expand and create a deep, passionate love, compassion, understanding, honesty between each other. So this is a very, very beautiful dynamic that plays out in the couples when we find our own center and when we come together as individuals, knowing what we want and knowing what is actually going to fill us up like filling our own cups ourselves without relying on the other person to do that for us. So this is very powerful. This is it's enlightening. It helps us expand our heart center, our heart chakra, and it helps us to open ourselves up, and it helps us to accept ourselves in a way that we might not have accepted ourselves, because that outer focus, we start to redirecting that inwards, and we start finding that inner peace with ourselves. Then life becomes not about you needing to chase anything. It becomes about you being comfortable with yourself, you being okay with who you are, you just knowing that anything that you need, you can create or fulfill those needs yourself. And that is very powerful realization or understanding to come to. And this is where you are able to reclaim the power, because you know that love that you deeply or passionately want to feel within your heart, you can create that for yourself. And once you create that for yourself and the other person is in like a similar place, and you come together, you both are able to expand your hearts so much and experience the love that you might not have experienced up to now. And that's where we get to build these deep heart-centered connections. And of course, being in these kind of relationships, like, we get to face each other's shadows. But I think it just knowing yourself well, you are able to understand and see your shadows, and you are able to see and understand the other person's shadows. And once you are able to witness, observe that, you are able to react. You are able to respond to those situations, and maybe like some of the triggers or the shadows that the other person might bring, or that you might actually trigger in the other person as well. So I think from that place, that's where it deepens our relationship, like having that awareness of yourself. So in today's meditation, I'm just going to go deeper into the heart and opening the heart up, noticing and understanding where we have been leaking our power away through not feeling like that we have enough love for ourselves. So I just want you to find a comfortable position where you could stay still and not be disturbed for another 10-15 minutes. And once you find that, just place your hands on your lap. Start by taking a few deep breaths in and out. Through your nose, letting your body relax. And letting your heart relax. And letting all the tension in your belly also melt away. And as it melts away, start noticing how the rest of your body is starting to relax. How the mental chatter is slowing down and creating more space for new insights, new realizations, new ahas. And as your body deeply relaxes with each of the inhales and exhales, start diving deeper into your belly. And start noticing and observing any anxieties, any triggers, any fears around that area. And as you notice them, as you observe them, start releasing them by inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling. And if you find any cords, any attachments in your solar plexus to people or situations where you felt like you have been giving your power away in exchange for love, just start noticing them and releasing them. Like cleansing that area, cleansing your belly, your navel center, your sun center from these attachments. And as they are getting released from your belly, your solar plexus, your sun center, start noticing how with each of these releases, each of these situations getting released, your heart is starting to open up more and more and more. And as it starts to open up, start noticing how it is getting filled with love. Very nurturing, even mothering love. And just breathing into your belly and breathing into your heart. And having that mental focus on those two centers. And one center is releasing all of those attachments, and the other center is opening up and receiving more love and more nourishment, more nurturing. And start noticing how many of the situations that you might have put a lot of mental thoughts, a lot of energy into, they start to melt away and they start to not be as important as you might thought before. And start noticing how, as these situations melt, how your body is able to take deep inhales, very relaxing exhales, just taking that unnecessary pressure off you, unnecessary pressure off your shoulders. And you get this deep inhale and exhale of relief. Even asking yourself question like, even why did I have to hold on to this for so long? It's just so easy to release it. And notice if you're able to release one situation or a couple of situations like that, what else are you able to release? Maybe there are some deeper patterns that you could start releasing as well. So just taking a deep inhale and exhale. And noticing any more situations, any people where you might have played the role of like sucker for love. And if you did that, you just release that. Forgiving yourself forgiving others, and letting your heart to open up even more, expand even more. And create space for more love. Love which has no attachments. Just pure unconditional love for yourself and for others. And start noticing as your heart and your body is getting filled with this love, how your body is starting to heal itself from any traumas, any situations, anywhere you have been or felt rejected, anywhere where you have rejected yourself, abandoned yourself. Just start noticing how love can so easily heal you, fulfill you, nurture you, nourish you, and open you up to life, to new possibilities, new opportunities. And start noticing and observing how beautiful life really is, how enjoyable life is. And start noticing how your body is starting to relax and heal itself by itself, just by you paying attention to it, just by you giving a minute to slow down and connect to your breath and your body. Start noticing how good that feels. And as you let yourself marinate with those feelings, take a few more deep breaths in through your nostrils and out through your nostrils. Letting yourself relax and be and feel at ease. Take another deep inhale and exhale. Open your eyes and thank yourself for showing up for yourself, showing up for your practice, showing up for love. And reclaiming that power through loving yourself deeply and unconditionally, and never forgetting to fill up your own cups first before you run away and fill everyone else's cup. This is, I think, very important, especially now that the Christmas is just around the corner. So I hope you're going to have a very beautiful day and the rest of the weekend, and can't wait to see you next week for the last meditation of the month and the year. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next week.